You're listening to the Nature's Image Farm podcast. I'm your host, Greg Burns, and we're talking bees, homesteading, and the old-time ways. This episode is brought to you by EnduraHive wax-dipped equipment. The days of painting bee boxes are over. Our unique wax-dip process expels water from the wood, replaces and impregnates it with our proprietary blend of microcrystalline wax, offering superior weather protection inside and out, without the mess or expense of paint. No paint, no rot, no hassle. EnduraHive, built to endure. For more information, check them out at naturesimagefarm.com. Now, on to the show.
Suzy, I'm home.
Hey, Greg. How are you? I'm just over here. Oh, hey.
What's going on in here?
Nothing. I was just getting ready for you to be here.
What are you eating?
Nothing. Nothing.
Smells like chocolate covered strawberries.
Not at all. I was just rearranging all the papers and stuff like this. No big deal. Nothing happening over here. You can't. Nothing.
Well, Suzy, happy Valentine's Day. I love Suzy.
I'm glad you do. Even with all my flaws.
Oh my gosh, it smells amazing in here. Chocolate covered strawberries. That's absolutely amazing. You got a little something in here.
Oh, sorry.
Mm.
Let me clear that. Oh, I had a napkin because I was wiping off your desk. It was filthy.
Well, hey guys, welcome to the Nature's Image Farm Valentine Bee Chat. It's a lot of fun tonight with one of Suzy's favorite things is I Love Lucy. And so I thought it would be fun to do a little I Love Suzy chat, and just phone's ringing and we're off the hook there. So anyways, we thought it'd be fun to do a Valentine bee chat with everybody tonight. The stream team is normally on Wednesdays, and it's Valentine's Day, and the fellows are out with their wives, taking them to nice dinners. And I guess I should have taken you to a nice romantic dinner somewhere too, huh?
I did make you pink spaghetti.
Pink spaghetti. I was thinking about, if you're like in the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana area, there's a very nice place that we sometimes take our wives called the WC Steakhouse. Now, comment in the comments below, in the comments here, do you know what the WC Steakhouse is? If so, I wouldn't. They don't take reservations.
No.
I don't think they put napkins in the bag. Hardly ever. Or do they?
Well, you get a suitcase.
You can get a suitcase.
You can get a suitcase.
You can get a suitcase.
Dinner
just slides right down.
Exactly. And right out.
And you feel like royalty. When you're eating at the castle, you just feel like royalty. So that's the kind of hillbillies we are. So look at that. We got some folks. They know what's up. Okay. So Rob B's Apiary, White Castle. That's it. The WC Steakhouse.
Yes.
Yep. CD Cook 77. Oh, our buddy Chris Morrow. Yep. Look at that. So look at that. Cap B. Oh, Darren Cap. Hey, Darren. Good to see you.
Oh, Sleepy Holler's Homestead says, White Castles.
We're trying not to tempt you there, Jeremy. We're trying to behave here for you. Well, anyways, hey, welcome to the Valentine Day Bee Chat tonight. We thought it'd be cool to kind of check in with some different couples, married couples across the country, to see what is the 3 secrets for a successful beekeeping or homestead marriage. And it's a lot of fun because a lot of folks sent us photos and then their 3 tips. And so it's going to be a lot of fun talking about that tonight. It's been, wow, what a week it's been. It's only
Wednesday.
It's only Wednesday. And we didn't get a romantic outing tonight, but we did get a couple days away in the St. Louis area here recently, didn't we?
Yes. Well, it was only one day, really. A 24-hour period.
That's true.
Yeah,
it was
the rest
pretty
was driving,
quick.
but that's okay.
I always like to spend time in going anywhere when some windshield time, and it seems like that's when you get a lot of good talking in, and you can sort through some things, and sometimes find yourself getting in trouble, and then hopefully getting out of trouble, and you figure a lot of things out. So it's not easy trying to do anything on a homestead or a beekeeping by yourself. And there are a lot of times where you're blessed to have a helpmate, and it really makes things easier. Suzy, we've been married for...
You don't have to take your shoes off.
This will be our 24th year.
Yep.
24 years, 7 kids, 4 dogs, 34 cats, and bazillions and bazillions. Dogs? I think so.
I think it was more than 4 dogs.
Well, yeah. See, this is why you got to have someone with you who actually knows all the stats. But it's, a lot of folks, you look at different married couples or friends that and you might say, you know what, they really got it together. They really, I wish our marriage could be more like theirs, or I wish we had together like them. And sometimes people look at us and think that we've got it together. But truth be told, we're like every other married couple. We've got good days. We've got bad days. Sometimes we argue. We don't quite get along. We don't see eye to eye. But we're going to talk about that tonight and share some tips on where a lot of folks find that they are finding success, not on the homestead, but also beekeeping, but as a couple. And I think that that's a lot of fun. We just got back from that trip in St. Louis, Missouri area. It was an honor to see all of you guys there at the Eastern Missouri Beekeepers Association. Tom and Melissa Sosman and Dan and the whole crew there put that on. And what a great crowd of folks. I really enjoyed the time that we spent there. It was a lot of fun to go not as a vendor and go just as a speaker, to spend time with folks and look them in the eye and hear their story and answer questions, and just fellowship was a tremendous blessing and such an honor to spend that kind of time. We're looking forward to some more conferences coming up. The next one we're traveling out to is the Wisconsin conference. That's going to be a lot of fun there too. But let us know in the comments here on the side, if you've ever been in a place where you're like, man, this marriage is so perfect that I think I'm going to write a book and go on a speaking tour telling the whole world how perfect my marriage is.
Wow.
We'll wait. We'll wait. I don't know that there's many folks who could say that. I think there are things that we can find that are beautiful and perfect throughout the imperfections. And I think it'll be fun to kind of talk about that a little bit tonight. So did I get the numbers right so far? 24 years.
Yep.
7 kids.
Yep.
And a lot of hard lessons learned. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks again for tuning in tonight. We've got folks from all over the country tuning in. Keith Spillman, Hallelujah Bee Farm, Jeremy, Lindsay, Sweet Harlan Honeybees, the Tar Heel Beekeeper, Kodiak Lee, Redfish. Oh, we've got Grammy Midwife checking in, Cottonland Apiary, Caps Bees. We really appreciate you guys. Via Honeybees, M&J Habitat. We could go on and on and on. We really appreciate you guys spending time with us on the most romantic night of the year. I don't think we're going to get into the Valentine's Day consumerism thing quite yet. So let's keep it real. I wanted to share something with you. We had an amazing opportunity this week. If you're in the beekeeping or homestead space, there is this thing going on where there is an awful lot of doom and gloom, and there is an awful lot of fear mongering, and there is an awful lot of you should be afraid or scared. So click on this video so you can find the light and you can find the answer so you can persevere through all of the doom and gloom. And I got to tell you, that's getting a little old. It was an honor for Suzy and I to spend a little time with another YouTube channel. They interviewed us, and we spent a little bit of time with them. And I wanted to share a little clip from a really incredible homestead YouTube channel. So check this out. Hey guys, we are so excited that you joined us today. There's a lot of fun things going on this time of year. We just got interviewed by Brad at the Big Family Homestead, and they were doing some phenomenal things. If you haven't already checked out their channel, check out Big Family Homestead. Brad, you've got some exciting new things going on your channel. Talk to our folks about that.
Well, thank you, Greg and Susan. Yeah, it has been a delight being here and hanging out with you. Let me tell you what, God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. And we are starting a brand new channel, Country Life News. And if you don't mind going over there and subscribing, just open up another tab. It doesn't cost you a penny. Go on over there and subscribe. The reason for that is we're kind of getting tired of all the negativity, the drama, all of the high school nonsense in the homesteading preparedness world.
Amen.
And to be honest, it's not how God has said this is the best way to live. So we're going to try to elevate instead of just da. So that's why we're starting Country Life News, and it's going to be all stuff that's uplifting. What's going on in the farming world, what's going on in the country world, what's going on in beekeeping world, what's going on in how to bake things, but staying away from the drama. So Country Life News, and I really greatly appreciate that. So thank you guys.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we're excited to spend a little bit of time with you talking about all the things, but I think as folks are moving forward, so many folks are worried about things that they can't control. They're worrying about things that can't worry for them. What I love about what you're doing is let's focus on the things that we can actually do to make a difference, to be a difference, and to be a positive change in this environment, in this world that we're living on. That's what we're called to do. And I'm so excited to learn more about Country Life News. And we're so honored and humbled to be just a small part of that as you guys are moving this thing forward. Country Life News, I can't wait to see what you guys do.
Well, I am very grateful that you guys have had me on and that you're helping out. So thank you. I really do appreciate it.
You bet. Brad, thanks again. We'll drop all the links below. But again, Country Life News, check it out. You might say, be there or
be squared. Oh, come on, man.
Oh, we had to. I know it was cheap. It was quick. It was easy, but not to. So stay. Wasn't that cool? Brad, Big Family Homestead, really excited about Country Life News. That's going to be really exciting to see them check in and what they're going to share. I think that's something important to think about as we all move forward. There's a lot of things we can be worrying about, but why waste any energy or effort worrying on things that aren't going to be worrying over us? Let's put that time and effort and energy to making a positive difference, making change where we actually can make a difference. And so I'm really looking forward to spending more time with Brad, Big Family Homestead. So keep an eye out on the Nature's Image Farm YouTube channel with more from that interview. And also be sure to check out the Big Family Homestead for the Country Life News and our little appearance with them. So that is pretty cool. We've got some questions coming in already. Let's go ahead and take a question before we kind of bring on some of our first tips from our pal, Tennessee. Tim McCandless has a question. Tim's got a question for Suzy. Tim, let her rip.
And while Tim is typing his question, we're going to play Just kidding.
We're going to eat some more strawberries live. Okay, Tim's got an update. Question for Suzy. Can I get a top bar hive update?
Oh my. We're just going to rip off the Band-Aid, huh?
Yep. It's your hive. It's your update.
Well, to be fair, we're going to place that blame exactly where it belongs, which is Greg put my name on that top bar hive. I did not claim that hive, nor did I take care of that hive. So, Greg, how is your named hive doing?
Deader than a doornail. The top bar hive is no longer. It made it through, let's see,
That was what, 2 seasons?
Made it through two seasons, and then here it's in its 3rd season. And what's interesting to think about in something like that, we can talk more about that later, but it was a top bar hive, and to try to get in there and to treat and to check for mites and all those things is an absolute nightmare.
How do we say? It's very fragile.
Oh, must be Italian.
Must be Italian.
So yeah, more on that later, Tim. But no, that one did not last. I mean, it lasted 2 years, but it is what it is. Let's see. We've got another question here before we get to some tips from William Sanderford. Any update on success with the beetle murder sauce? Great question. William Sanderford, the beetle butter or the hive, the murder sauce that we were using, thank God, we have not had to use that for two years now, maybe probably 2 years or so. We were using that for years and years at the old farm. We've talked about that quite a bit on some other stream team chats where we were having a lot of hive beetle issues, and we had to do all kind of throw the kitchen sink at it to
man,
they're going to get that thing straightened up. And when we moved here to the new farm, the first inspection with the new inspector over here said, this is a great spot for bees. You won't have hive beetles here. And I said,
yeah,
what are you talking about? Well, we're not going to have hive beetles here. Because no, you're on the high, dry ground. You probably won't see hive beetles at all.
Yeah.
Well, long story short, we're only a half a mile away from ridge top to ridge top. But the difference is the old farm, that was a north-facing ridge that had spring seeps all throughout it. Very anaerobic, mucky, nasty soil, hard to get anything to grow. But what it did is it created a lot of opportunities for hive beetles. Here at the new farm, on this ridge top where all the bees are, and where the bees are in this kind of area here, the soil is actually drains way better, and we just don't have the hive beetle issue. We don't have to use murder sauce at all, and we haven't for a little while. So that's pretty cool. So the thing to think about is when you hear old timers say all you need is a strong colony in full sun and you won't have hive beetles, that's not true. What's true in that is that in full sun, the sun is in drainable soil, is keeping that soil drier and less moist, and it's less habitable for hive beetles. But you take that same scenario like we did there, we watched doubles and triple 10-frame deeps crash with hive beetles in full sun, but it was because the soil type was constantly wet. So there's nuance. There's no absolutes with any of those things. So no, we haven't had to use that at all. Definitely not last year or the year before. So that's helping out pretty good.
It's awesome. And it doesn't mean it doesn't come. There's not other things that you deal with, but it's just one that's lesser of an issue.
It's with the last thing we'll say about the hive beetles is, when we have we make a little split, like a little queen cell, and it may be like a handful of bees in a box, right? If that queen never comes back, doesn't start to lay, something happens to the cell, that colony does go into decline and crashes out. And then hive beetles do move into there. But there's a difference between a hive beetle moving into a very tiny colony like that versus an epidemic of hive beetles that you can't stop.
Right.
And you can't control.
Yep.
Kind of like what Bruce is facing down in his Ozark yard. So there is quite a bit of difference there and quite a lot of nuance. So Tim also mentions here that his hilltop apiaries always do better with beetles.
Yeah.
So there's something to keep in mind there. So let's go ahead and let's get into some of these really fun tips from folks. We're going to see if we can go ahead and pull a couple of these up. Let's start with Tom and Melissa.
What a great couple. Tom and Melissa are just a phenomenal couple, and they were a pleasure to spend a short 24 plus hour weekend with. Just a phenomenal couple to be around. So it was a pleasure to be around you and Tom and Melissa.
So Tom and Melissa, thanks for sending these 3 tips. But Tom and Melissa of Via Honeybees, 3 tips / secrets to success. Number 1, build a plan / budget that you both agree on. That can be a challenge. A lot of times, I think a lot of folks have the dreamer, and then there is the other one that is the realist. Which one do you think we are? And that can be challenging because you do need that other side of it to bring things together to keep you kind of on that line, not in line. Well, sometimes keep me in line, but more so on the line, on the path. And so that's a great tip. Number 2, oh my gosh, look at this one. Hot tip from Tom Sosman, fellas. You ready? Feed your wife by noon.
Wow. Okay. So Tom literally was raised by a large family mama. Yes and amen.
Tom had learned that's exactly.
He was learned.
Feed your wife by noon. Absolutely.
Yes.
Ain't nobody got time for no hangriness.
Nope.
And I can get hangry too.
Yep.
Number 3, learn to compromise.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one that I think you will always be checking yourself on, because sometimes we can get so passionate and so headstrong on a certain thing that there's not a lot of room for compromise.
Well, there's always room for compromise. You just have to compromise.
Right. Some days that's easier said than done, isn't it? So Tom and Melissa, thanks for your input tonight on the 3 things that you find to help you be successful with beekeeping in your marriage.
Those are great.
Oh, there's so many good ones here. Let's
you just got to pick them.
We're just going to pick them. We're just going to run with it here.
Yep.
Okay, so check this out.
Oh,
all right.
This is fun.
So this is our friends Fred and Annette Dunn. Of course, you all know Fred Dunn, but check that out. Look at that. Look at all those cameras. He looks like he's like the Chuck Norris of photographers.
He is. He does have that Chuck Norris.
I hope he's
stance.
not listening. He's going to get a big head.
He is. Look at that.
Look at that. Yeah, that's intimidating.
And Annette, amazing.
She's so sweet.
You absolutely radiate in that picture. It's awesome.
So Fred writes, we served in the Navy together. We built our home from scratch.
Wow.
9 months straight. We do photography together. We keep bees together. We've been together for 29 years. And that success comes easily because we absolutely enjoy each other's company and are never, ever bored. Humor at every single turn, laughing at ourselves, endless respect both ways. Our own grown kids don't know what to make of us. It just doesn't seem real, but it certainly is love. We are just happy to see each other every single morning.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Fred has, I love Fred's sense of humor. It is so dry. It is so sarcastic that it keeps you on your toes. Can you imagine the jokes back and forth between Fred and Annette in the morning over coffee? Fred and Annette, thank you for sharing that with us. That's cool.
You guys are awesome. Fred is this spectacular person to be around, and our kids just absolutely get a kick out of being around him every single time they are able to.
Yep.
It's so fun.
All right, let's go here to, there we are.
Oh,
Ricky and Ruth Rorick, horizontal bees. Man, we love them. They're so awesome. Some great tips here. Why don't you read these ones?
So this is Ricky and Ruth. Just took the, okay. So this was a picture from taking his little lady out for Valentine's Day. And number 1 is God, 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 God. Number 2, communication. And number 3, patience. I'm still working on number 2 and 3, but she still loves me.
Ricky, buddy, I am working on 2 or 3, especially today. That's something I think we always fall short a lot of times is communications, having enough patience, and so I appreciate you guys sharing. They're always so fun to be around. They were up here several times this past year, and it's always great to see them. We just saw Ricky and his crew at the EMBA workshop that we just came from, and so it's always great to see.
I didn't get to see Ruth.
No, Ruth wasn't there. It was Ricky and his team member, his buddy there. Yeah.
So I was like looking for Ruth, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Ricky. Like, I'm just looking around you for a second. Hold on. Oh, no, it's just you. Okay. Well, and he's great, but Ruth, she ices the cake.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just how it is.
Yeah, Tim writes, she's a beautiful artist. The horizontal hives she paints are works of art. They are. I really really enjoy her work.
Yep,
for sure.
Ruth is a blessing.
There's so many great ones here to choose for. Let's go ahead and go to. Okay, let's go to Greg and Marianne from Rockbridge Farmstead. They've got a Facebook page and a podcast. They're really neat folks. I have to get my glasses on here. Let's see if I can make that one bigger.
That one's really small. I would help you.
Okay, so number one, have a game plan for the tasks you'll be working on that day. We often discuss the overall plan and then figure out what we're going to do individually. This way we can work together to get things done more efficiently.
Yes and amen.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And number two, remember to encourage each other. It keeps you focused and reminds you on why you are doing this together.
Yes.
That's a great one. It's really easy to get lost in the weeds and kind of forget why you're doing it to begin with. And number three, listen to each other's ideas and dreams. You each bring something unique to the table to help make your bee yard and business flourish. That's a fact. That's true. That's one of the, the beautiful story of creation of Adam and Eve is Adam needed a helpmate. And God removed a rib from Adam and made woman from man. And I think it's a beautiful thing because it's exactly what we need. That missing piece of us are our wives. And I think it's a beautiful thing when you can line up in life to the fact where you can communicate, you can dream together, you can build something together, you can work through all those problems, because believe me, it's tough. It's tough a lot of times. And I think being grounded and having some of these things that we fall back on, some of these things that we use every single day to keep us moving forward is really important. And we're going to talk more about that later. So Greg and Marianne from Rockbridge Farmstead, thanks for sharing that with us.
That's awesome.
Let's jump over to Kentucky. Jamie and Brandy Wynn, great folks, sweet Harlan honeybees.
I love the photo.
Isn't that great?
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're awesome. I like them. We saw them at the Bee Expo. Great folks. Why don't you read these ones?
All right. So number one, we always keep God first. Yes and amen. Number two, always remember everything happens for a reason. Keep faith and trust in Him.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. And number three, sacrifices have to be made for both sides. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill.
That's good, huh? Wow. That's a whole sermon in and of itself, but yeah, that's important. Number two really comes to mind. Always remember everything happens for a reason. Keep faith and trust in Him. There's so many things on the homestead or on the farm or in the bee yard or in the business that can seem like it is absolutely falling apart, or that thing that you're waiting on to just come through, to just float the boat a little longer doesn't. And you're thinking, what in the world's going on here? And then when you just trust, the wind picks up, the boat starts moving, and it takes you places that you can never even imagine. So keeping the faith and trusting in Him, that's beautiful. Sacrifices on both sides, I think, is also important. Not to make mountains out of molehills. You know, a lot of us are stubborn.
There's enough mountains to climb.
There's plenty, isn't there? Yeah, let's not make any extra mountains over molehills. If there's something that we can work out and put away quickly, let's do that. Not make.
Are you
worse.
seeing some overlapping consistency here?
Absolutely.
Are you getting that like same? Listen, everything doesn't have to be vanilla, but vanilla is awesome if you just take the time to appreciate it, right?
Absolutely.
So I think looking and saying that keeping God first, absolutely. But then number 2 brings it right back to him again. And sacrifices, well, God did send his only son to sacrifice for us. So there's that.
That's what it takes. There's you can't just take, or you will find yourself alone and by yourself trying to figure everything out. And that's just no place to be, is it?
Awesome. Thank you guys
Jamie
so much.
and Brandy Wynn, thanks for sharing that with us.
Awesome. I'm loving these guys.
Let's go over to the big dog himself, Randy and Elizabeth. That was a lot of funny. There's a really funny story in this one, but I promised I wouldn't get into it. But what a great couple! It's always fun seeing them around. You just they're both just have that thing about them where they radiate a lot of love, and they're a lot of fun to be around. So we've got Randy and Elizabeth McCaffrey, the Dirt Rooster and Mrs. Dirt Rooster, and ask, what are their 3 tips or secrets for finding success in a beekeeping marriage or in a homestead? Number 1, faith. Isn't that cool? I mean, I love it that this is a reoccurring theme. Now, we didn't vet anybody. We didn't say, hey, but this is beautiful that the number one most important thing is faith. Number 2, romance. Number 3, hard work. I love that. That's important. Faith obviously is what grounds us and keeps us and is keeping our compass tuned. Romance, I think, is something that no one really ever wants to talk about because you can get out there on the weeds, but you've got to find ways to be able to connect. And I think we're all adults here and can say that we're all going to connect differently, but knowing your partner's love language and to be able to connect in that way is huge. Otherwise, you just don't have that same kind of relationship. I think we can all say when you feel connected and you know what the plan is, and you know the steps that you're going to take, and you know that everything that you do is grounded in faith, and you're able to express your love for one another, that's a life where joy and happiness is just a consequence of living that kind of life. And I think that's what folks yearn for. And I think that's a really important aspect. So Randy, thanks for bringing that up. Number 2, romance, and number 3, hard work. I mean, there's a lot of us, I think, that we're just tuned up that way, where we just want to keep digging in, keep working, keep going, And I think that's also the homestead and the pioneering spirit is just to keep going, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. A homesteader spirit, a pioneer spirit, a pilgrim spirit, was to step out in faith and forge forward.
Yeah, can you imagine, being the pioneers and just, literally cashing whatever you could put together and put into a wagon and get a team of horses together and trust that there was a better future, but you had to risk life and limb and everything to get there. But to have that kind of faith, there's a part of me would love to have been there and experienced that. The other half of me thinks I'm not tough enough. No matter how tough I think I am.
I think they were eating the gristle from the coffee to make themselves tough enough.
How beautiful of a scenario would that be to where, you head west whether the Oregon Trail, you name whatever of those several different movements out there.
Go a little further back than that, and pilgrims were coming over on boats to a land they had never even been able to fathom. So faith and knowing that God is always your number one can move mountains.
It's amazing to think about whether you're hopping on the boat as a pilgrim or you're hopping in a wagon as a pioneer, but you are completely trusting that this is the plan for you and you're going to head and go in that direction. And there are so many times along those roads and paths where, there are attacks and there are loss and there is death and there is starvation and there is everything going wrong and not everybody made it. But imagine how beautiful it must have felt to know that that was God's plan for you and you're going to take one step in front of the other, no matter what, and just keep moving. Whether you saw the end of the trail or not, imagine being all the way at the end of the trail and you're setting up camp for the first night on the piece of ground that you feel God's called you to be on after making it through that entire journey. That's a beautiful thing to think about. I would love to just experience that, just to know that all of that hardship, all of that struggle, all of that pain and loss and trusting and faith, and there you are in that moment, fully appreciating it. That's, to me, that's pretty cool. And I think in a lot of points in our life as married couples on farms and homestead and bee yards, we have our own Oregon trails. We have our own Mayflowers. We have our own points in time where it feels like that is exactly what's going on, setting up a bee yard or starting a business or trying to just pull it all together.
Is that one, do you remember that one game? I don't know if it was like Atari or something in the 80s. Was it like the
Oregon
frog?
Trail?
No,
Oregon
the
Trail?
frog trying to get across all the cars.
Oh.
And like, you don't get ran over. You had to hop and then go over and up, and maybe it was the one that was just a joystick. I can't remember. It's like, sometimes you feel like that. And then the other times you feel like the Oregon Trail where it's like, you're not sure if you've just lost all your beans or rice or whatever it was. I don't even remember the game. Frogger. Okay. Somebody knew it.
Frogger. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, I'm sorry, I'm just ranting there, but Randy and Elizabeth McCaffrey, thank you for sharing your 3 tips there.
Love them.
Okay. Let's see what we got here.
I'm not used to all this fancy screen work.
I mean, I'm surprised I've made it go this long.
J&J, let's see.
Jeremy and Jackie, Sleepy Holler Homestead.
Awesome.
Great folks. They're a lot of fun. It's always great seeing them. So their 3 things is a little friendly competition keeps it fun. That's why we do this. Or that's why we do his and hers. It's easier when you have 2 different perspectives when looking at a problem. That's good. Number 3, have a good mentor. Nothing beats the help of a good mentor in any part of homesteading. Learn from others. It's the best way. That's great. Jeremy and Jackie, that's some great points in there. It's definitely easier when you have 2 different perspectives, especially when you appreciate the other perspective.
Well, and I think the his and hers, I think we've never quite done beekeeping like that, but I can see where if you are, athletically minded, that a little friendly, healthy competition would be phenomenal because, well, I mean, is Jackie rocking it or like, is it Jeremy?
Jeremy's probably trying to keep up. I can see them going down 2 different B rows, like who's going to get through and get through them all. Actually, that's true. If you remember right, we've got an interview with them. They came out to show us something really cool. but they do. I remember them talking about they are competitive. They've got the hives, and they go back and forth to see which ones they take a certain hive each exclusively, and it's which one is going to overwinter. And it's a competition for them. Which one's going to come out of the winner?
Here's the thing. There is nothing better than healthy competition. And I think our society as a whole is probably transitioning away from that. But I really feel like as a mother, especially when you have a little healthy competition, like who can sweep the floor faster, you're going to get things done 2 to 3 times faster than if you just go, hey kid, can you sweep that floor? Or, who can get through the most beehives? But you have to look for these 2 things, and don't give them too many options, but like it's phenomenal. I think when you think about things like tasks that you have to get done anyway, it's like, well, hey, instead of me being the only one doing this, how about we make a little friendly competition out of it and see, and it can be super fun. I see that all the time, and it's awesome. I love those.
Yeah, that's I don't know that I want to get into who can get stung the most competition, but some days it feels like that's a competition you leave for somebody else. But it's a lot of fun to, truth be told, we're out there working in the bee yard, and I can just feel you looking over at me, and you're just trying to get up just one hive up further, get it further down the road and further down the road and further down the row. And then when you beat me, you should be proud, and I love that.
You just blame it on the fact that your hands are bigger or something, or you don't wear gloves. So, you're getting stung. Yeah. You got to work slower.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just blame it on that. But Jeremy and Jackie, Sleepy Holler Homestead, thanks for sharing that. Jeremy, right now, without getting into the details there, just had a little trip to the hospital. So if you would, folks, keep Jeremy in your thoughts and prayers.
Yes.
Great folks. I really enjoy spending time with there. So Jeremy, we'll keep you in our prayers and pray for a quick and speedy recovery.
Yes. Yes, and amen.
Got a couple left here. I could do this all night long. Before we get to the next one, Bruce is tuning in. He must have.
I did not know this about Bruce's wife, so I would love to read this. I love that you are talking about this. My wife Annette comes from a long line of pioneer stock.
Wow.
Her ancestors were some of the early pioneer settlers to Utah. That is so awesome. Okay, so Bruce, I think we need to have a chat about this.
I think so. I think we need to have just the ladies get on here and talk. How cool of a story would that be to learn about that?
Faith in every
I like what Bruce says here. Faith in every footstep applies to the pioneers and still applies today. Absolutely, it does.
Yes.
Bruce, hope you guys are having a great night tonight. Okay, let's see. So we got Jeremy and Jackie here. They're tuning in tonight, and it says keeps us on our toes. It keeps our hives thriving. Jeremy has 4 hives, and I have 3.
That's
However,
awesome.
Mine has pulled more honey. See, she's a competitor.
She is. I could tell. It was so funny when we had them. They came to visit us, and I could tell that she absolutely loves. And she does not brag. She doesn't. She's very humble about it. But the smile that she gets on her face, it just radiates through the whole room when she's telling an awesome story about something that she did. And I just have to say, as the was that blue ribbon? What color ribbon was that?
Oh, yeah, no, they took first place.
First place ribbon. I can't remember the color because that was a chaos time. Oh, chaotic. Let me just make up words because that's what I do best. The amazing first place winner of, and I'm not exactly sure what was the...
Here, I can figure out. Now, Brian Coper's not here. He's on a hot date tonight.
Oh, man.
So the fact that I can do any of this without him is absolutely amazing.
Okay, just post what the prize or what the award was for, because I'm having a hard time pulling my brain together.
I guess I'm going to pull it up right here. So
you are?
go
Okay.
to there.
He's going to pull it up, and I'm just going to pretend as though I knew and just wanted you guys to see this phenomenal picture because it's awesome. Look at that. Okay. Are you showing it now? Okay.
There they are. Look at, let's see. Do you get it?
Are they in it? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So Bee Expo, does it say what?
It's for honey flavored cotton candy.
Amazing. Okay. So I did not want to take I didn't want to take the whole handful or anything. I took a piece. Okay. Well, I was scarce. Okay. So I was like, okay, I'll take a little tiny bite, but I'm not going to take much because I want to save it for everybody to have some. That's the large family divide and conquer mentality there. And so it's like, I just want a little bit. Honey confections. That's what she won the ribbon for.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Okay. You see her smile. It will literally warm a room. She has the most phenomenal smile, and it was so good to see her win that. I'm sure you just absolutely knocked it out of the park. For me, it was A+++. So it was awesome. I think it's just phenomenal.
I think she's going to just keep rubbing that in Jeremy's face too. Like, you know what? I'm the blue ribbon winner here.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. They both work together. What a great couple there. All right, let's see. I'm having fun tonight. If you're just checking in, we have there. I can't believe there is 100 people on tonight on Valentine's Day night.
That's awesome.
So we really appreciate you guys spending time with us. We weren't really thinking there was going to be anybody on tonight, but we still wanted to just do something a little different, a little special. If you're just tuning in to the Nature's Image Farm Bee Chat tonight, it's a Valentine chat where we're sharing the 3 tips or secrets for a successful beekeeping or homestead marriage from folks all across the country. So we really appreciate you guys reaching out and sharing that with us.
That's right.
We've got a couple more to go here.
And before we wrap up anything or share the last couple tips and successes, I don't want to forget to remind you, if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do. You can even do it while you're watching. You can just open a second tab. You don't have to click off or anything. You can open a second tab and just like and subscribe to the channel so that we know that you like us. And if you don't like us, it's okay. You can just click off. I won't be hurt. I won't have my feelings hurt. I promise.
I want to thank some of our channel members for being on tonight. Nick Zooks here from Ohio. I appreciate your membership. 10 months. He's been a part of this channel. We really appreciate that. If you're interested in being a channel member, we're putting out some member exclusive videos over there. We'll drop some links a little bit later on how you can do that. But it's a fun way that you can support what we're doing here, and we can put out unique content for you. So
that's right.
That's pretty cool. I think I'm going to go ahead and save the best one for last.
Okay.
And the reason, and I'll tell you why. It's the matter of fact. You know what?
Is it the last one?
Well, if there was one that were to get a blue ribbon, I mean, it would probably be this one. Look at that. Aren't they awesome? Larry and Mary Ann Sears, blue ribbon man himself. I mean, look at that. She even pinned it on him. That's such a funny story. Larry is, I love them to pieces. It was funny. You know, we're at the one of the bee conferences a couple years back, and here's Larry just beaming with this blue ribbon and says he just got entered the contest for best man and took first prize. So they're a lot of fun. Just they are a great example, I think, for so many of us of how to live life, how to do things right. Of course, neither one of them will tell you that they've got it all figured out, that they're perfect. But I love what not just what they stand for, but I love they live by example, and I think that's a really important thing.
These two young whippersnappers just are so much fun to be around. They are both so joyful, And I tell you what, when you're around somebody that truly just is so full of joy, it spills over, that it's I don't know. Is it just me, or sometimes when people don't spill it out, it's a little harder to, like, sit and simmer for a while. These two are so much fun and such a blessing. You could just sit there like all day long, and it's just so much fun. They're awesome.
I think I want to be Larry when I grow up. He just gets to be having all the fun. He's got all the toys, and it's just I think what's
I can and cook and do all the fun things that they all do. It's just so fun. He knows that what she loves, and he wants to help her do those things, and she knows what he loves, and she supports those things too. And I just think that is the beauty of love and happiness. With love, when you show love, happiness is that.
Absolutely.
Is that thing that comes after.
It's yeah. What's beautiful about them is when you read that to let your light shine for others, so they see your good works and give the glory to your Father in heaven. That's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to have them in this community, and it's absolutely a blessing. So when I asked them, what are your three? What are your three hot tips? What are the three hot tips from the Seers?
Yeah.
Here we go. I love it.
Number one,
God comes first.
Yes and amen.
Put your spouse's wants and needs above your own. And that is really hard. I think for a lot of us men, that's hard to. We're so dedicated in doing all the work and trying to bring in all the harvest and doing all those things, that we're so minded on that a lot of times I know we can be doing better. I know I can be doing better with that, is being more mindful of what does your spouse need? Where are they at? Have you checked in with them? It's so easy to just go. And we can sometimes justify that all day long. But taking the time out to put your spouse's wants and needs above your own, that's a great one. So that note taken on that one. And number 3, don't forget to realize how God has blessed your life and to be thankful for those blessings. I'm going to read that one again.
Number 3.
Don't forget to realize how God has blessed your life and to be thankful for those blessings. How many times, you're on a path and you feel like you're doing all the things you should be doing, and life is getting rough, and it's one step after the other, and it's 1 week after the other, and then 1 month, and then 1 season, and then 1 year, and then 1 decade. And all you're doing is you find that you're the same work pattern, the same thought pattern, the same rut that you're in all this time. And you forget to look back at all of the road behind you. You forget to be thankful and to remember how far you've come, and whatever that is, whatever that your walk is. It's so easy to forget all the blessings. You forget all the times where you asked for help and God showed up. You forget all the times that you asked for a door to be open that you walked through. You forget all of those things. So I love what she says there, is to be mindful of all the blessings that God has given us. Don't forget that as we're working on and doing the work. It's also a good reminder that God's always there. He's always answering that call. It's a matter of us to be of the right mindset to appreciate that and to be thankful for all those things.
I think what comes to my mind is going back to number 1.
Mm.
No, it's right there. Do you want your bifocals?
I didn't have my bifocals.
God comes first.
Absolutely.
So when you put God first, all things fall into place.
That's a hard one, I think, for a lot of folks to accept, appreciate, and practice.
Well, I think that comes with a walk.
it's one thing when you're looking for the answers and you're looking for those in all the places. But I think when you are looking for the answers and the knowledge in the Word and through God, God then gives you wisdom. And that wisdom you're able to build on day after day, week after week, year after year. And I think that is what continues your walk. When you read where it says, to have fear of the Lord and fear of the Lord this, and you're thinking, why should I always be afraid? For me, I think what it really means is to have that walk, have that relationship, have that reverence, have that honor, have God as number one. That is what that means to me. And when you do that, everything else falls in line. When you're seeking understanding and knowledge, wisdom comes right along with that. And that is the true gift, is the wisdom of those things, because that is something that you can share, you can help with others, but it builds that solid foundation that you're building the rest of your life on. And that's a big deal. When you put number one as building that solid foundation, you won't be the one in the sinking sand. And I think that that's a really important thing. So if there's a lot that we can learn from experienced folks like Larry and Marianne, it's putting God first. So I love that. That was some of my
thank you guys so much for sending those in. That's so awesome.
Grammy's midwife, Suburban Homestead, been a member for 14 months. And she says, marry your best friend, learn to laugh together, listen, and communicate. God bless y'all. That's true. You've got to find time to laugh, especially in those moments where there's nothing laughable. But when you can still find a way to do that, that really makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Well, God calls us to love, but I think you really need to make sure you like the person that you're marrying.
It's pretty helpful. It's pretty handy to really, when you say you love somebody, this is a Valentine chat with beekeepers. So if you're just now tuning in and you're wondering,
what in the world?
You end up on the Dr. Phil, Dr. Ruth, Dr. Oz, whatever this is.
I don't know.
It's not just about beekeeping. It's a lot about the nuts and bolts here that makes a difference on what we do with these, whether that's beekeeping, working in our community. It's an important thing to take time to do that. So we appreciate everyone tuning in tonight and being a part of tonight's Valentine Bee Chat. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them here in the comments below, and we'll do our best to check in on that. But it's a lot of fun when you can live life with not just someone you love, but someone that you really like, and someone that you consider a friend. It makes all the difference in the world. Gary Stewart checking in from West Virginia. Got to keep the faith even in trying times. I am sure Greg knows what I am referring to. Absolutely, buddy. It's been a tough season for a lot of folks. We get into this time of year, or if we are in this season of the human existence, but the world is dark. And there are a lot of folks who are really struggling right now, and they're struggling just to get by every single day. And some folks have. Whenever you think that you're having a bad day, there is always somebody who's having it a lot worse. You never know what someone is truly dealing with or going through. And, this sometimes hits home for all of us. I recently lost a childhood friend, and I don't want to get into any of those details, but it's no matter which way you try to explain it or think about it or justify it, it's loss. And to see someone leave this world that seems to leave it early, there's just no good way around accepting that. But there's a lot to be said about the things that we can do while we're here on this earth. And I think putting God first in all things as a married couple, I think is one of the most important things that you can do. I can't imagine trying to get through all of the tough times that you and I have without having that foundation. And it hasn't always been like that. But I would encourage folks, if you're listening tonight and you're blessed with to have a spouse on this earth, I spend a little time thinking about that. Are you where you want to be with your relationship? Are you where you want to be with your relationship with God as well? And I think there's a lot of things that we can do to put those in a much better position. John Lawler comments here and says, he having the last word strengthen our relationship. Last words, yes, dear. That's great. It's all about perspective, he says. Yeah, that's great. John also says here that Maggie and I wouldn't be where we are without the foundation built on the rock. That's absolutely, that's it. We could talk a lot more about that, but putting God first, putting your family second, and putting your business and all things third, that's the order that it seems where we are finding success in life. And we're finding that joy and happiness is a consequence. We're finding that's what we're called to do. Sweet Harlan Honeybee checks in. Awesome live chat. It's been a joy. Thank you all. Jamie and Brandy, thanks again for sharing your 3 tips. Now it's Valentine's Day night, and there's been over 100 folks checking in tonight, spending time with us.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
It's so awesome. We just want to take a little bit of time to just say thank you for all the folks who are following our channel, our podcast, kind of just following along us all these years. Some of you go way back, all the way back to when we were trying to figure out how to raise pigs in the woods and do all that. So we really appreciate you guys. We thank you for also being open and spending time to hear us and be a part of us and to get to know us a little bit better. This is who we are. This is what makes up the foundation of all the things that we do. So it's a lot of fun. To remind you, we had a really fun interview with Brad at the Big Family Homestead earlier this week, where they've got a brand new launch, Country Life News. And it was so fun to be a part of that. I can't wait to see what they do there. But be sure to check in on those channels and see that little interview with Suzy and I on their channel. And be sure to come back to Nature's Image Farm later on here over the next week or so and check out the interview that we did having Brad on the full length. There's so many things that happen in life that I don't think that you can pin on coincidence. But what an amazing orchestrated event that brought Brad to our life and us to his. So many beautiful parallels, homesteading and beekeeping and 7 kids and faith and all these things just keep stacking up. But it's a lot of fun. Hallelujah Bee Farm. I saw their shirts at the Bee Expo and I absolutely loved it. Now, I didn't get a chance to meet them or say hi, but Hallelujah Bee Farm says, great chat. Thank you all for what you do for this community. You betcha. Oh, our buddy Jimmy's Neighborhood Bees. It was so fun to see him and Sharon were out here at the Creator Convergence. They drove all the way from Virginia to buy packaged bees. It's so fun to see them. But Jimmy says, thank you both for what y'all do. 40 years last October for him and Miss Sharon. Isn't that cool? 40 years.
Awesome.
Wow.
That is awesome.
That is absolutely amazing. Got to give a shout out to our buddy Randy Seller, the Tar Heel Beekeeper. Thanks, Greg and Susan, for all you do. I got to thank Tar Heel Beekeeper Randy. Man, I really appreciate you. Every time that we post something, you're there and you're sharing it. And I tell you, that really means a lot to us when you share those posts. We see that. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for everything that you do for this community as well. And then Pappy Richard. Pappy Richard writes, appreciate you both sharing your faith. Nothing better than being grounded in God first and foremost. We actually ran into Pappy and his wife at the hotel when we were coming out there at the Bee Expo, maybe 1 or 2 mornings in a row over coffee. So that's a lot of fun to be able to fellowship and meet with folks there. And then our pal Nick Zooks writes, "Thank you for all the advice and equipment over the past few years, Nick. You betcha. We're glad to help in the ways that we can." We got another local legend that we love to spend time with too, Scott and Melinda Boring. Scott writes, 40 years for me and my true love, Melinda, this August. Wow. Well, happy early anniversary. They're so, she's such an artist too.
You know, I love seeing many couples, almost every couple that we are blessed to be around, that the husbands have this admiration, and I can't even put it into words, but when Scott talks about his wife and the things that she creates and the things that she does is just with such respect, and he finds joy in her joy. And I think that is huge, and that is awesome. And that is a blessing to everybody that hears you speak about her. So awesome job. That's just, and he doesn't need me to tell him that because,
Great folks, a great family.
Yes,
yeah. Our pal, Keith Spillman, we just had Keith on one of the pop-ons not that long ago, Half Tracks and Honeybees, 43 years for me and Michelle this month. 43 years. We saw them at the Bee Expo. That was a lot of fun. 43 years.
That's
We're only 24 years. 24
I feel
years
like
in.
a young pup compared to all these awesome people.
I hope
what in the world?
Yeah, I hope you don't trade me in for a younger model.
Well, then I would have to start all over again. What are you talking about?
Well, this is also I like to see this too. Alhambra Orchard and Apiary. Shout out to Mrs. Alhambra, the glue that keeps it all together.
Oh,
behind every good man's an even better woman. And I absolutely believe that. And so I love to see the fellas shouting out their wives too, because let's be honest, 99% of the reason all this works together is because we've got good wives that are working humbly behind the scenes, making all the things happen, taking care of us, making sure all the things are actually happening. We're just the schmucks that can lift heavy stuff and can get stung. That's really a lot of what that is. So I love seeing that there. Sharon writes, her husband my husband and I just celebrated 44 years on the 9th.
Wow. Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Goodness,
that is so cool.
You guys are so awesome. Look at all this.
And then got to thank Carol J. McCarthy Logsden. Thank you for that $20 super chat. Thank you for being a great example of what a Christian marriage should look like. Well, that's humbling. We are no way perfect. There are hard days and there are good days. But what do you say as we close out? What do you think a couple of our tips would be? What is some of the most important things that you think about, as we look back at, after folks saying 43 and 44 years and all that, 24 doesn't seem that long, but I remember when we got married in Grandpa's Soul Country Church, we were young. We were 18 years old. We didn't have anything figured out. All we knew is that we loved each other, and that was the path forward. And there were a lot of folks that sat there and said they are never going to make it. It kind of felt like that. What was that song? It doesn't matter. But
we just heard the story.
You just heard the story, and
a wonderful woman sat back in the church and said, I give it a year or less.
Oh, man.
And she had to laugh and tell us because, 24, almost 24 years later and of marriage, it's there. If you think the moment you get married that you've reached the epitome, that you've reached the top of the mountain, God will humble you. And I think
Absolutely.
every time you think you've got it figured out, strap on your seatbelt. You're about to be humbled again. So what I know is that I don't know anything, and that's why God comes first. And when I don't seek him first, I can't serve anyone else well. So what I know is that I don't know anything without him.
I think that's the best tip or secret I think that we could pass on is that we don't have to know all the answers.
Nope.
There's no
Isn't
way
that
there's
so
there's
awesome?
no way to know all the answers, and there's actually something kind of freeing in saying that I'm never going to know all the things about these bees. I'm never going to know all the things about these milk cows. I'm never going to know all the things about this or that or the other.
Yep.
I'm never going to know all the secrets of life. I'm never going to know what the answer is or why this just happened or what the next. I don't know all that, but I know the one who does.
Yep.
And
Yes,
when we
and
put our
amen.
trust in him, all these things follow. And I think that's the most important thing that we could pass on to folks is to put your trust in God and everything else follows. Great comment here, Farmhouse Kitchen. Jesus being in the center of our lives is the foundation of our marriages, and you are a great example. So thanks for saying that. So that's I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but a lot of times because we have a YouTube channel or a podcast, or we have folks that come in here to the shop, and they see us and we have a lot of fun and everyone knows I'm crazy about you. We've been married for 24 years, but
Everybody knows I'm just crazy.
well,
I got you.
no, I'm just kidding. I don't want anyone to think that we are some kind of poster board marriage, or this is you should live up to this, or this is what the example is. The only example in us is that when we trust in God, God works in our life. But there are days where it is absolutely it's hard, and there are days where it is beautiful, and it's ups and downs and mountains and valleys. But what I can say is that the God on the mountain is the God in the valley. He is there all the time.
Yep.
And trusting in him makes all the difference.
Yeah.
In the world, doesn't it?
Yes.
If someone, Hallelujah Bee Farm says, Suzy, they said we wouldn't last a year when we were high school sweethearts. 48 years and counting.
That's
I love
awesome.
that. Suzy, I can still remember the day. I can see, I can see you walking in Mrs. Garman's English class, and I'm just thinking,
this bum's going to try to steal my notes again.
And I was just head over heels, and
just so he doesn't fail history.
So what actually happened is I was just, believe it or not, I was not the best student. I was the kind of kid where I looked at school and I said, I'm never going to use this stuff ever. Why am I wasting my time here? I need to be out somewhere building something, doing something, growing something. I need to be not doing this. And I really struggled to try to force my mind to make my hands write on paper and to memorize all of these words just so I could memorize the sequence of sentences right on a test so I would pass the test, but never really know what in the world all that information was. I had a really hard time.
I hope our kids aren't watching this.
Our kids are probably not watching this. But
as the homeschool mom,
this is the difference though, is when you and I were in the public school system, and it's not a knock if you were a public school teacher,
to each their own.
Well, your kids are in public school. We're not saying that, but for us, the model was cram all the stuff, memorize it so you can pass these tests, so you look smart, so the school district looks smart, so we can get the funding, so we can keep pretending that we're smart when all we're doing is pushing the kids through the door and out.
Oh, you better get off your soapbox.
Okay.
You might fall.
But for knucklehead, stubborn kids like me, that's just not how I learned.
Yep.
And it was a constant struggle.
Yeah.
And so thank God that he put this just pretty girl walking through the door who somehow looked at me and thought I was something and let me copy homework. And so because of you and copying your homework, I was able to get through
Just
how many
squeaked
classes?
by to graduation.
I mean, history and what else were there?
Well, we were in English together.
We were in
you
English
didn't
together.
copy my art, so
No.
that was good.
Art was the only one I could do. Art, I loved art. Art was, but anyways, I'm getting lost in the
I
weeds
digress.
here. But anyways, yeah. So all the way back then, you were there, and
I still let you copy my notes today.
you do, absolutely.
Isn't that crazy? I'm still the note taker.
I'll never forget this. It was so fun. I can remember sitting. I remember exactly where I was sitting at. I was all the way left-hand row, second seat from the back, and you were 2 rows over. And after copying the homework,
Second seat from the front.
second seat from the front.
Yep.
Same. Yep. And I remember you saying, after all this homework you've been copying, and you owe me at least take me out on Friday night
On a date. Yeah.
on a date. And I said, did this beautiful girl did she just say that I owe her a date for copying her homework? And I'm thinking, boom, 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 boom. I'm thinking, you got to be, are you, yes, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I mean, and I was really an extreme introvert too. And so, the
you
girl,
wouldn't guess that now.
you would, yeah. So because you put it out there, and here we are all these years later, so many fun stories, so many great times, so many rough times that we learned from. But
we have been through every valley and walked every mountain side by side.
in 24 years, we've got at least another 20
We've
years
been
to catch
together
up.
longer than we've been apart in our lifetime.
Wow, that's crazy to think about. We've been married.
20.
We've been together
it'll be
longer.
24 years marriage, but we were married at 18. So we've been
Wow.
married longer than we had existed apart.
Do you think we'll grow up and be like Larry and Marianne Sears?
Maybe one day.
I hope so.
Maybe one day.
A couple last comments here before we let all of you get back to your very romantic dinners. And if you're like us, it's going to be a very romantic.
You already got pink
macaroni and
spaghetti. What are
cheese
you
and hot
talking
dogs.
about?
I did get that.
Come on.
That was good. Thank you. I'm here working late at the shop, and she even had dinner ready, and so thank you for that.
Dinner, church, and back here for the live stream.
So this is Elizabeth is commenting here on the Dirt Roosters channel.
Hi,
Says
Elizabeth.
this is Elizabeth. When we went to ask the pastor to marry us, he flat out told us he didn't want to do it because he knew we'd get divorced. That was 32 years ago, and by God's grace, and probably a different pastor, we are still together.
Oh,
Isn't that cool?
that's awesome. What a testimony.
Wow, that's cool.
God can do anything. Through him, all things are possible.
Look at this. Scott Boring, man, I absolutely love Randy
Randy
Travis.
Raymond.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to love you forever and ever. Amen.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, hey, we've had a lot of fun tonight. It's for us, it's such an honor to spend time with you folks. Whether we're talking about bees, whether we're talking about life, whether we're talking about starting seeds or whatever that we get into, we just appreciate that you are here with us along this journey. I really can't put that into words enough, but to have you guys here and a part of that is a really big deal. And I just want to say thank you. And thank you for all the super chats tonight, including Bruce. Hashtag love is in the air. Hashtag faith in every
footstep.
I love that. That's a good one. Hashtag for the love of bees.
That's awesome.
We do appreciate you guys so much. If you like this sort of thing with me and Suzy just kind of getting on and talking about whatever's on our heart and mind,
Topic.
let us know.
Non-topical.
Let us know in the comments below if you want to see more Greg and Suzy chats, and maybe we'll find a time and place to do that, and maybe put them out to the members only section of the channel or wherever is a good fit. But it's important to us to be able to, kind of share not just the beekeeping things, but to share where we are in life, because that really does that's the mold that everything else kind of flows through, is who we are as people.
Yeah. Here, guys, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Beekeeping is not 100% of our life. And I probably shouldn't be any secret, but we have so much more to give, and we have received so much more through love and blessings from people through beekeeping than just the bees. And the bees are amazing. And I think they draw you closer to our Creator. But I think He developed a community for us that is so long and wide. It's so awesome. And it's been such a blessing. And I think that is just, I don't have words. I don't have enough beautiful words to say.
The thing about it is, we feel like God has called us to beekeeping and has put us in a place where bees are the conduit to the people. We've said that over and over again. And for us, there are a lot of great places and areas to go listen and learn nuts and bolts beekeeping. And while that's important, sometimes a lot of things go, other parts of our lives starve, because if we're not right here and we're not right here, does it matter what we do here? There's a great scripture. What would it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his own soul?
Yep.
It's something we got to keep in mind with no matter what we're doing in life, is we got to be right here first. And that's an important thing to share. So if we'd love to share just who we are and what life and how good God has been to us in our life. So we want to thank you for being along here. All right, I got to give a quick shout out to our pals Steve and Jane here in Hopo. S&J, honey, you guys are awesome.
Awesome.
Well, you guys are more awesome. So it's always good seeing you. Looking forward to when the season gets back going again. Seeing you guys here in the shop once we get opened up.
I love this one. A short memory.
Look at that. Keith Spillman. Look at that. He is a marriage counselor extraordinaire.
Write a book. That's
a short
awesome.
memory also comes in handy
In a marriage. That's right.
That's I feel like that one's pointed at me tonight. Yeah. Sarah at Burke Meadow Farm says, nice listening to you, Suzy and Greg. Sarah, thanks for spending time with us. Cottonland Apiary says, we missed the Sunday afternoon podcast. Life is so crazy now with the bee business like it's never been before, and we're so thankful for that. But one thing that we have really made a priority, and that we will continue to make a priority, is our business, our shop. Everything is completely closed on Sundays. Sundays are for church and for family. So I don't think that you'll see us on Sunday afternoon live podcasts. Maybe we can record something and then kick it out, have it pre-recorded and go out on a Sunday. But it's important for us to stay centered and grounded and spend time with each other. So Sundays,
take that time to rest.
Yep.
Yeah.
So had a lot of fun tonight. I want to thank everybody again for all of your very valuable input.
Yeah.
Tips and secrets.
You guys are amazing.
To a successful beekeeping or homesteading marriage. You guys are awesome. I want to thank all the folks who chimed in and gave us all their incredible feedback. Suzy, what's coming up here for the next week or so with you and all the things here at Nature's Image Farm?
Oh my, everything. All the things.
Okay.
Do I say all the things? I just get to say all the things.
Is there anything that you're really excited about this next week?
excited about?
No more chickens. Tell me it's no more chickens.
Well, I did see some.
Oh boy.
I saw some and they were chirping at me at Rural King. They were trying to talk to me. What's that mean?
Do they come with dipping sauce?
They might.
We might have to just, can we put a pin in that one? I'm willing to compromise.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'll tell you what, you can have chickens. If I can have
Bees? Okay, check.
Actually, I couldn't think of anything that I wanted because
Cows?
I feel like no.
Goats.
No.
Sheep.
Stop it. I'm going to cut your mic off. No goats.
Rabbits.
No goats. Okay. We're done.
Turkeys.
We're done. Okay. We're done. No more. Okay. Well,
Like and subscribe.
folks, oh my gosh, this
Before
is
he
going,
cuts me off.
wow, this is going great. Yeah. Before we get roped into goats or anything else tonight, folks, I just want to say how much we love you. We appreciate you.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. We look forward to see you guys again soon. Let us know in the comments below, what are your 3 tips for a successful beekeeping or homesteading marriage? Leave your tips below.
Yes.
We would love to learn from you guys as well.
And all the people in the community can read through and see those tips too.
Absolutely.
So important.
We can all share and learn from each other.
Yes.
Coming up here in the next week or so, I can't even, my brain's so fried right now. But we are getting very close to being sold out on nukes. So if you are interested in nukes, don't wait around a whole lot longer.
Yes.
If you're interested in getting on our package route, we have availability on the April 26th route. And we also just got another boost in how many packages we were able to get on the April 13th pickup date, which is on a Saturday. So we have two Saturday pickups. We have availability. The first route is already sold out. The second one was sold out. We were to add a little bit more to that. So don't wait around. We would love to see you here.
Don't delay.
Don't delay. What else? Queens are nearly all sold out until July. We'll talk more about that later.
Put a pin in that one, huh?
The fun stuff is up here. EnduraHive wax dip. We've got some incredible things coming down the pike. It's so busy. Keep an eye out on our website at naturesimagefarm.com for all of these things to hit, including some brand new products that you'll see. We'll talk more about all those later.
Are you going to put links in the description below or something like that?
I just always want to make sure just to remind folks that those things are out there. Those are available. Tonight is all about I Love Suzy. And I got to find out, did you save me any of those strawberries? Are there any of those chocolate covered strawberries left?
I think they are gone. Sorry about that. Maybe next time.
I knew I should have bought you flowers.
They smelled so
I knew I should have bought you flowers. Maybe there would have been some strawberries left.
Ah.
Well, hey, wherever you're at, we just want to say,
Da, 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 da.
oh, that's nice. That's
Da,
good.
da, 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 da. Good night.
This was not a Desilu production, but Greg, I got nothing.
Greg and Sue is I can't do it. I'm sorry. I was not blessed with the singing gene.
Let's just jump off here before everyone jumps off before us, and it's just me and you just laughing and having fun and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, we love you guys. We'll see you the next time around. As always, we want to remind you to be the lighthouse
and be the change that you want to see in this world.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.